Hello everyone. Today we're not doing any of the stupid shit I usually do. We're not doing a video game and we're not doing a proper video essay, right? I have finally watched the live season 2 of the live action One Piece. Now, I have seen so many fucking people, I'm just going to say this right off the bat, I have seen so many people be so egregiously racist to Brook's live action actor, and it's actually fucking mental, okay? Now this unironically pisses me off so bad, because racism should piss you off. I know, controversial take, you should be pissed off about racism because racism is immoral and stupid and horrible, right? But this is pissing me off because I have seen so many fucking people, because One Piece fans that are racist know that if you say, I'm racist, I don't want to see a black person on my television, no one's going to listen to you, they're going to be like, oh, you're racist. So now, I have seen so many fucking, racist little pieces of shit having a go at Brook's live action actor, because God forbid Brook be played by a black guy. I know, the character with an afro. God forbid a black person play that character. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. You know? So I've seen a lot of people saying stupid shit like that, but they're making up dumb excuses. So let's go over the dumb excuses first, right? Let's talk about all of the heinous shit that I have seen people say about this poor guy. And then we're going to go through these two scenes where he actually plays, because he's not even in the fucking show for very long, and everyone's just having a tantrum because they're racist little pricks. So we're going to go over the stuff that I've heard, that I have seen people saying about this poor guy, and then we're going to go over his actual performance in the show, right? Because his performance is fucking brilliant, and all of these people are just whinging because they are racist little 4chaners that have not seen the light of day in about a decade, right? So the main thing that I see people using as an excuse to be racist is, oh, but Oda said that Brook would be Austrian. You know how I know that this is just an excuse because you're a racist little cunt and you don't actually care about accuracy? There are black people in Austria. There are black people all over Europe. There have been black people in Europe since before the United States was colonized, and you're going to sit here and be like, oh no, I'm not racist. I just think Brook should be Austrian. You are racist, right? Get out of your fucking basement, talk to a woman that's not your mother, go outside, right? Get off 4chan and get a fucking hobby. You half-rate, amateur little fuckwit. You hack, okay? You're gonna sit there, you're gonna be like, oh, Brook would be Austrian. He's got a fucking afro. I don't think it's unreasonable to cast a black person to play him. Also, I've seen people say that, oh, Brook shouldn't be black because white people can have curly hair. I know. Ask me how I know. I have fucking curly hair and I'm white as well. You fucking morons, okay? In the series, Brook refers to it as an afro. Where do you think the afro, where do you think the AFR in that comes from? Surely not from the word Africa. You're all idiots. And they're all sitting here, they're being like, oh no, I just think it's inaccurate. You don't think it is, you don't care about accuracy. You do not think it's inaccurate. You are just mad because there's a black person on your screen and you know that if you say, I don't want to see black people on my television, you're going to look like a fuckwit. Because you are. You are a racist idiot. You're a moron. They're going to need to dig a new pit in hell when you die and go down there. Right? Because the ones that they currently have are not deep enough. It's ridiculous. I have also seen people just dogging on this guy and just picking apart at every little fucking thing because he's black and he got cast to play a character, right? If you can't handle seeing a black person on your television screen, you need to go outside. It's not the 1940s anymore, right? Black people exist. If you unironically are going to sit here and argue the toss with me that it's unreasonable to cast a black person to play the character that has an afro and calls himself the Soul King, and you're going to sit here and be like, oh no, he can't be black because he's Austrian. You need to go outside, okay? I don't know what you're keeping between your ears, because it seems to be, you don't have a fucking brain, right? Maybe that's where you keep your little My Little Pony cum jars, okay? But you need to log off Reddit, stop gooning to little anime girls, right? Your mum's not going to be around to wipe your ass forever. You need to go and get some fucking life skills. Okay, I know you haven't felt the warmth of the sun in about 20 years. You haven't left your fucking basement in 10. But you need to go outside. You need to touch some fucking grass. You need to talk to a woman that's not your mother. okay? You need to talk to someone who doesn't spend all their time on 4chan inventing new racial slurs, okay? You're insane. You are unwell. You are abnormal. If you're going to sit on the internet and have a tantrum because there's a black person got cast to play a cartoon character, you need to get a real problem, okay? You need to experience an actual hardship in your life, right? And having diarrhea because you drank too much Monster and you haven't had you haven't drank water in 30 years, right? That doesn't count, okay? It also doesn't count if your mum is complaining that she has to spoon feed you your fucking mac and cheese, because God knows you people don't eat vegetables because you have the mentality of a fucking 4-year-old, okay? It's actually insane. It is urgent that you get a job or some kind of hobby that does not involve being racist to people on the internet, because it's out of control, okay? You're all fucking mental. You're all idiots. You're all racist little pricks, and trying to hide that racism behind some dumb, flimsy little excuse does not make it less racist, okay? You do not give a fuck about accuracy. You don't. You just don't. Because if you did care about accuracy, you would have cracked the shits that they got an American actress to play Nami instead of a Swedish actor. But you didn't, because she's still white. And that's what it comes down to. You're just mad that there is a black person on your television because you want to live in a little fucking fantasy world where everyone blends in with a stack of paper and would get a sunburn from a light bulb, okay? So log off. Get a hobby, learn how to read while you're at it, right? Watch One Piece through something other than TikTok funk edits of Zotto's fight scenes, okay? Because it's out of control. You're all idiots, you're all mental, and you piss me off, okay? Anyway, sorry for the rant. These people agitate me. Because they are fucking racist, and they think that hiding behind a little excuse is going to make it less racist. It doesn't, just so you know. When you go online and you whinge about, for example, Vivi's actor being brown, and you make up some dumb excuse, you're like, oh, but the royal people in Egypt were actually Greek and they were pale. No one is you're not tricking anyone. No one's falling for that. We all know that you're just saying that because if you got online and you said, I'm racist and I don't want a brown person to play a character, everyone would call you an idiot. You know that you're going to look like a dickhead if you say that. So now you're just inventing all these dumb little excuses because you're too much of a pussy to actually just say, I'm racist. Right? If you're going to be fucking racist and you're going to be a dumb little bitch and get on the internet and have a whinge and a moan about the presence of someone with slightly more melanin than you, but which, by the way, that's not a hard bar to clear, right? It's not hard to have more melanin than you because you don't go outside. You have not seen the sun in about 20 years. You don't remember what grass looks like, okay? If you're going to get on the internet and have a whinge about that, hiding behind some dumb little excuse does not make it less racist, and no one's falling for it, okay? And if any of you come in my comments to have a tantrum about, God forbid, a black person be on the television, I'm going to make fun of you. I'm sorry, I just am. Because you're an idiot and you haven't got a real problem. Right? Go shower. Okay, I know it's been a week. You need to go. You smell bad. Anyway, sorry, fuck. As you can see, this topic irritates me. But having watched season 2 of the live-action One Piece, actually, I think that Brook's actor is the perfect casting choice, okay? Because now, Brook as a character means a lot to me. He's my favourite Straw Hat. His storyline and his character arc, they're really meaningful to me. They mean a lot to me, right? And so when I am looking at One Piece live action, it's really important to me that they get Brook right, because he's an important character to me and he's one of my favourites. And this actor, because Brook is only in like fucking 2 scenes, right? So we're going to go and look at these scenes. Now, these videos are probably going to be in kind of bad quality because Netflix doesn't let you screen record things because they are greedy. And God forbid you take a screenshot of a show. Oh my God. We live in a fucking dystopia. I can't take a fucking screenshot of One Piece because Netflix doesn't want to lose a single cent. God forbid. Anyway, so we're going to go over these, and I'm going to talk about my favourite parts of how Brook has been portrayed in this show by this actor, because I think this is one of the most phenomenal casting choices and character portrayals I have ever seen. So let's look at this. This one is from the One Piece Netflix's official Instagram.
You share your dock with us, and we'll share our music and our food with you.
So this is not Brook, obviously.
I have more than enough food.
Then perhaps some of our booze?
Now, the line delivery I really like, because Brook's character. So the things that stand out to me the most about this guy's performance, I've forgotten his name. My apologies. I don't remember fucking anyone's name ever. But this actor, actually, let me find what his name is, because he deserves to be named, because he's doing a brilliant performance. Jeez. Ignore me saying my fucking Google out loud, because I'm Marshall T. Batcherman. Alright, I'm gonna put his Instagram on the thing, if I remember. Hang on, I'm trying to find his, if he's got like a page or anything I can put on my, yeah, he's got an IMDb and Instagram. I'll put his name in the description of this video, and some other links to some of his pages and his Instagram, because he's fucking brilliant. Okay. Anyway, so Marshall T. Batcherman has done because Brook is a very theatrical, kind of eccentric character. He's like he's silly and he's playful. He's very, and when you're translating a cartoon to like a live action format, it's really hard, because if you try to do it one-to-one, it's going to look unnatural and forced, and it's going to look weird, and it's going to be kind of cringe. Especially with characters like Brook and Luffy, where they're very enthusiastic and cartoony and whatever. Yeah, they're like dramatic and theatrical, really, is the only words I can think of to describe it. It's really hard to translate those to a live action format without it looking forced and unnatural. And I think Marshall Batcherman, I actually don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Marshall or Marshall? I don't know. My apologies. I'm going to refer to him as Batcherman, because if I refer to him by his full name, that might sound a bit too familiar, because I don't know this guy. I just think he's done really well here. Anyway, so Batcherman has done a really good job of balancing Brook's general, like, theatrical, dramatic demeanor. The things that stand out to me the most about his performance as Brook is the body language, the line delivery, and the facial expressions. Because let's look here. That facial expression. How do I move? Okay, I can't go back. So fucking okay. I'm gonna have to let this play. Let's look at his look at that. Look at the way he performed. Right.
You share your dock with us, and we'll share our.
I'm on my laptop with this, so it won't let me fucking like manually. Maybe I just don't know how to fucking use Instagram. Anyway, so look at this.
Some of our booze.
Like, look at that face, and the way that he's kind of rocking back and forth a little bit. He's done it really well in a way that it's not, because he's rocking back and forth without looking, kind of insane or scary. He's doing it in a way where he looks a little eccentric, a little quirky, a little, like, odd, but not in a threatening way, which is really hard to do because of how often movies and TV shows use rocking back and forth as a way to, like, express a character being insane. Also, the facial expression, the face he made was very, it was kind of like exaggerated and, the only words that are coming to mind is cartoony and theatrical, but I cannot keep using those same fucking words. But anyway, the face that he made was very, like, dramatic, but it didn't cross over into the, oh, this guy's trying too hard, oh, this looks unnatural. It didn't cross over into that. It still looked very natural. And so in this, like, fucking 10-second scene, Batcherman has shown us that Brook, like, we can watch this and we can already see that Brook is kind of, he's a bit eccentric, you know? He's playful, he's a bit silly, he's kind of theatrical, he's, you know, whimsical, I guess. Just through the use of the facial expression and the body language, he's already shown us how Brook is, like, you know, a silly character. He's... My vocabulary is failing me. I can't think of a word for it. But he's shown us... he's already showing us parts of Brook's personality and the character that the kind of person that he is within this very short scene, which is impressive, right? Because it's hard to demonstrate a character and a character's personality and their behaviors in that short of a time frame, right? And it's especially hard to translate a cartoon into a live-action adaptation, which is why a lot of live-action adaptations fucking suck, right? It's because it's really hard to translate a cartoon to live-action without some parts of it feeling too flat, or... Because there's a very fine line that you have to walk when you're adapting a cartoon into real life, into live-action, because if you keep it too flat, then it'll lose the comedic... silly, you know, fun aspects that the cartoon had. But if you go too far in the other direction, then it looks forced and like unnatural, and you're overdoing it, right? It's really hard to maintain the same cartoony kind of dramaticism and, you know, silliness without it also while still making sure it looks natural. And I think Batcherman has done a fucking fantastic job with that here. I think this is really impressive. Having, you know, done theatre for like 5 years, it's hard, okay? Acting in general is really hard, and I think he's blown this out of the water. I think this is perfect, right? Yeah, and then the laugh, right? So you hear that laugh, because Brook in the series, in the animes, he does a very high-pitched, like, yo, but his speaking voice is not that high. And as you can see, Batcherman has not put on a very high speaking voice either, but he's still managed to switch from his normal range into that high laugh, and you can hear audibly that is recognizable as Brook's distinctive laugh. And I think he's done that really well as well. Also, the face that he made, the like big smile, that was really well done too, because Brook in the series is a skeleton, and so he's very like distinctively recognizable with the big smile. Even in the segments where he's not shown as a skeleton, where he's shown as a person, he has the big smile, and Batcherman has done that really well. He's captured. Like, I look at that smile and I go, that's Brook. That's a very Brook way to smile, where his big smile, he looks really, like, you know, excited. That's a Brook way to smile, you know, in my opinion. Also, I like the way that the way that he's kind of like gently rocking back and forth, but in a way that doesn't come off as like insane or threatening. It just comes off as like enthusiastic and kind of silly. That's because in the manga, obviously, you can't see any of the characters doing kind of like idle body language like that, because it's a fucking drawing. And in the anime, they don't do that much either. So he's used body language and facial expression to express that same sense of, you know, playfulness and silliness that Brook has in the manga and the anime, in a way that still feels natural without overdoing it, which is hard. And I personally think he's done this really well. So now we're gonna look at the other scene where he sings, because Brook's a musician, right? And to... Oh god, what am I doing? Okay, hang on. I need to get my screen recording fucking again. Let me save this, you piece of shit. Oh god. What am I doing? Okay. Alright, hang on. I need to fucking put the name of this. Brook Scene 1. We're gonna call that. Fuck, okay. So, alright. So we're gonna look at this, because Brook's a musician. So naturally, he needs to be able to sing. And we get a scene of him doing that, actually. So let's look at this. See, listen to that. His singing voice is gorgeous, right? He does the smooth... his voice is smooth, and it's soulful, and it's passionate. But as he sings the song, he doesn't strictly follow the melody of the song. He changes it and switches it up a little bit. He switches the pitch up and the speed of the lyrics in a silly, again, kind of playful way, right? And this as well, using the way that he sings the song and switching it up a little to show the character, using the song and switching up the way he sings it a little does a really good job of making the character seem, you know, kind of silly and a little theatrical and dramatic, and he likes to add a little flair to the things that he does, right? And also throughout both these scenes, Brook is carrying a sense of zest for life. He's enthusiastic, you know, he's passionate, which is what Brook as a character is like. And I think that Bachman is doing a phenomenal job of using slightly more subtle ways to express that, because in like animation and manga, you can't as easily use things like body language and facial expression to portray that kind of thing, especially because in animation everyone's faces are exaggerated, and even more so in things like One Piece. You know, I'm sure we've all seen the extremely ugly One Piece frames, you know, but Bachman has used the advantages of the live action format to like really effectively portray Brook's general kind of demeanor and his behaviors. And I think he's done a phenomenal, like, this is incredibly good. This is really impressive. Like, look, that smile that he's done, that looks like Brook. Let me, I can't get, I'm failing to get the exact, like, actual frame. Because I'm not very good at this. Look at that, like, that looks like Brook. He looks like Brook. With the smile, and the way he's holding the violin, and he sounds like him as well. The way he has switched from the deep, you know, soulful singing up to the higher pitched, joyous kind of laugh. That's been really good. His voice has not cracked, which I find impressive because I get voice cracks all the fucking time. Do you understand how difficult it is to go from a deeper voice to a higher fucking voice like that? It's hard, okay? I don't want to hear people laugh at me for voice cracks ever again, because I'm kidding. But, you know, it's quite, I find the way that he's managed to switch up to the higher pitch, he's done it in a way that still sounds really natural, which I'm also quite impressed by, because that's hard. It's hard to switch up to a high pitch in general. It's also hard to do it in a way that doesn't feel like it's taking effort, and that doesn't sound like it's taking effort to do. But he's done it in a way that sounds natural, sounds effortless. Like, that's just how Brook is, which it is. That is how Brook is. He's done a really good job, right? Also, the big smile, because Luffy's actor Iñaki, he does a big smile that feels very distinctly like a Luffy way to smile. Batcherman's doing... the way Batcherman is smiling in his portrayal of Brook feels like the way that Brook would smile. Maybe I'm just biased because I already think he's doing a fantastic performance. You know, maybe I'm deluded. Maybe my vision is clouded by the fact that I already like this portrayal of Brook. But I think that he's really just he's capturing the mannerisms that he's doing, the like subtle body language, the facial expressions, the delivery of the lines, the way he's singing the song. It feels very Brook-like. It feels like something... It all feels like ways that Brook would behave. And it's really... Because in these very short scenes, we're already getting a sense of what Brook is like as a character, right? We've seen him talk to Crocus and Yorkie. We see that he's a little bit dramatic in his facial expressions. He's a little bit, you know, theatrical. He's got a flair. He likes to do, you know, like he puts a flair on the things that he does. He's passionate. He likes to laugh. Right? In both the scenes that we've seen, he laughs. He laughs. He's very happy. He's got a big smile on his face. He's enthusiastic. He's passionate, you know? And that's how Brook is. And that's how Batcherman is portraying him. And I think he's doing it in... Considering that these scenes are like fucking like 40 seconds total in combination with each other. Like he's got a very small amount of screen time, and he's managed to convey Brook's personality in that very small amount of screen time in a way that still feels natural. And I think it's really well done. I think this is really impressive. And if, God forbid, if Netflix recasts Brook and if this guy stops, if they give the role to someone else and they don't give it to this guy again, I'm going to punch a hole in my wall. Because this is the best... If I was casting for a live-action One Piece, I don't want a single other person in the planet to play Brook, because this is the best portrayal that I have ever seen of an anime character that has been adapted into live-action, right? If I had to rank all of the actors in the One Piece live-action based on how well they portray the character and how well they embody the character, I would put Batcherman and Iñaki at number 1, because this is brilliant, right? As a certified Brook fan, this is fantastic, and everyone who bitches and moans about this actor can go to hell, because this is brilliant, right? I did theatre for like 5 years or so, right? And I have no criticisms. I have nothing for every single other actor in One Piece live action, except for Iñaki. I can think of at least one thing that I would slightly change, right? I don't want to call it criticism, because most of it is like small things that I think they could just do a little bit better. I have nothing that I can say on this, right? This Batcherman's performance of Brook is flawless in my opinion. It is subjective, but I think that he's done it. He's got it spot on. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything that I could. There's no feedback I would give on, you know, what I think could be improved. I think this is fine. I think this is perfect the way it is, right? Because he's capturing Brook's silliness, his playfulness, his flair, his zest for life in a way that still feels natural. And I'll say it again. It is so hard to translate a cartoon format into the live action format, especially with shit like One Piece, right? Because cartoons are inherently dramatic and exaggerated and whatever. And in translating it to live action, you have to be really careful not to flatten the characters, but also not to over-exaggerate and make it look unnatural. And I think that Batcherman has struck a perfect balance right here in these two scenes. And I also think that the amount, like... Because within a short amount of time, we're already getting a sense of the kind of person that Brook is, right? And to be able to give the audience a bit of a sense of the character's personality and their little individual quirks and traits, to be able to give the audience that sense within such a small amount of time is really hard. And I think I'm impressed with how much personality and how much character Batchman has managed to express within this short amount of time. So anyway, watch the rest of this fucking scene.
So spread your tail from dawn to dusk upon these stormy seas.
Like the way he says, "You'll end up a skeleton," like the way he kind of plays around with the delivery of the lyrics. That's really clever because that portrays, that expresses that the character is a bit silly with it. He's a bit, he likes to play around, you know. He likes to have fun. That's a really that was a really well executed way to express that Brook as a character likes to have a bit of fun with it. He likes to play around, you know? I think that was really clever. Also, his singing voice is gorgeous. Brook is a musician, right? As the character of Brook, his whole thing is that he's a musician. And this Batchman's singing voice is beautiful. It's fantastic. And that perfectly fits Brook as a character being a musician. Like, that's his role on the ship is the musician, and Batchman's singing voice is gorgeous, and that perfectly aligns with Brook's character as a musician, as someone as a character who loves music, who plays music, who lives for music. He has passion for music. This is really I think these two scenes are perfect. I think these are brilliant, and I think that Batchman's portrayal of Brook is the best that we are ever going to get, because I think that this is perfect. I think this is incredibly impressive, and I think this is one of my favourite portrayals of Brook. I say one of my favourite portrayals as if there's ever been another fucking live-action portrayal of Brook, but this is my favourite. Saying it's my favourite portrayal of Brook feels like a cop-out, because this is the only live-action portrayal of Brook that I'm aware of. But even if there were others, this would still be my favourite, because he's captured Brook's personality within a very short amount of screen time, and he's done it really well. He's expressed it in a way that the audience you can already get a sense of what kind of person Brook is. And I think this is brilliant. This is one of my favourite portrayals of a character that I've seen. I think this is brilliant. And if they ever if I swear to God, if they ever, because I know sometimes, you know, shows will recast actors, and I swear to God, if they ever recast Brook and they don't have Batchman play him again, I'm just going to stop watching it. I really am, because this is perfect. This is brilliant. Every person who has ever complained about live-action Brook and his casting, and Batchman being cast to play him, everyone who has complained about this guy are so stupid, and I hate them, because this is perfect. This is brilliant. This is one of my favourite parts of the second season of the One Piece live-action adaptation. Purely because, you know, Brook's my favourite fucking Straw Hat. He's one of my favourite One Piece characters, right? And I really do think that Batchman's portrayal of him is fantastic. Like, this is really good. I'm so glad that Batchman got a chance to, number one, just to audition for this role, and I'm also glad that he's gotten a chance to be cast in this, because I've never heard of this actor before until I saw this, right? And I hope he gets cast for more things, because the skill that he's demonstrated in his ability to exhibit the character's personality traits, and to use very subtle little things like body language to convey the character's demeanor and the way that the character is. I think it's really good. I think he's really skilled, and I think this is fantastic. But anyway, this is what I wanted to talk about today. So yeah.